this is Heidi Caswell here, WordPress 101 for Boomers. And today I'm going to tell you about web host that I use, which is called IX Webhosting. Now, as to whether or not this is a good choice for you, depends on a couple of things. The first thing to consider when you choose IX Webhosting is whether or not you're willing to manually install WordPress onto your sites. Now, I do have a little video you can go over and click and it'll show you how to do that. But it does take a little bit of time. You do need to know how to, need to get an FTP tool such like FileZilla, or there's several different ones you can use, and to upload your WordPress files manually and install it manually to your site. If I was putting on boomerempowerment.com, I had to manually install it and upload the files. Now, when I did a WordPress site at boomerempowerment.com/WordPress101, I could click a button and it can install it. Now, if you're looking for that button click and you don't want to go to the trouble to manually install WordPress, then don't choose IX. You would just be frustrated with it trying to figure out how to upload it or to pay someone to upload it for you. If you go someplace like HostGator, you can do that, click a button, and you can have it right on your site. Now, that said, there are reasons why I do like to use IX Webhosting. And one reason is right here is you get some dedicated IP addresses. And usually, let's go ahead and go into what is an IP address. Every device that connects to the internet has a unique number called an IP address. Now your web host, whatever server they have that's connecting to the internet to show your files, has an IP address. And when you have shared hosting and you have several different places that are on one account sharing the hosting, they each have that IP address. So you've got several people sharing the same IP address. Okay, I went over here to a site called yougetsignal.com, and under their websites on /tools/web-sites-on-web.server. And I just put in my domain name and hit check. There are 227 domains that are on the same web server that come up on it. And that's shared with a lot of people. Now, if there's some spammers among that group and some other things that might get it listed as not being a good thing, sexoffenderregistry.net, you got several places there that, some of those are listing content that they say might not be good because just they have that word in there, but, it is, that's what happens when you have sharing an IP address. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and check over here, and this is on one of my main sites, boomerempowerment.com, and I check, it's the only domain that has that IP address. Now that is very cool, and I don't have to be sharing it with other questionable people, and it gives you certain about a credibility there. As to how much it helps with the search engines or not, I'm not sure whether it helps with it or not having a unique IP address. But since I can have one, I like it. That way I don't have to share it. And that way I have some of my smaller sites that are on the shared IP addresses. And my main sites I have their own unique IP address. And this I can get through IX Webhosting. IX Webhosting lets you get 2 to 15 dedicated IP addresses. That's just one with just you on it. And that doesn't share it with anybody else, but just you. You can have more than that many of domains on your account, and you can have more sites set up than that. But that's how many you get that have their own unique IP address. One of the other things I like about IX is you get your own personal support person, and it goes in and tells you best ways to contact them and hours and things on it. But at the same time, a little bit about them. But at the same time, you have a phone number you can call and talk to whoever's there 24/7. They have online chat, and they're good at helping you. I have a friend of mine who was using them and her websites got hacked. And I went and said, this code's been found on some of these pages, and they went in and they put a cleaner through it. They sent a cleaner through. Within a couple hours, the cleaner had gone through all of her sites, which she had a dozen plus, and went through all the files and cleaned out all the bad code. And we got our sites up and running again very quick. And that was a very cool service there too. Anyway, this is IX Webhosting, one I use for my sites.